The avoidant person projects an image of complete indifference and emotional detachment, convincing themselves and others that absence creates relief rather than loss. Their entire defensive structure depends on maintaining the illusion that they neither need nor miss anyone, that their emotional landscape remains undisturbed by others' presence or absence. However, beneath this carefully constructed facade exists a profound sensitivity to abandonment and loss that they cannot acknowledge without dismantling their protective identity. The absence of someone who once occupied their life creates impact far deeper than they can consciously admit or process. The delayed recognition of loss. The avoidant person experiences emotional responses on significant delay, their feelings surfacing only when relationships have safely ended and vulnerability no longer requires immediate action or risk. When someone disappears from their life, initial relief gradually transforms into unexpected grief that arrives weeks or months after separation. This delayed recognition of loss catches them completely off guard, contradicting their narrative that the relationship held minimal significance or that independence provides complete fulfillment. They begin noticing the absence in small moments, reaching for phone to share something interesting and remembering no one is there to receive it, encountering situations where they would have sought that specific person's perspective or feeling unexpected loneliness during activities once shared. These subtle recognitions accumulate into undeniable awareness that someone's presence mattered far more than they acknowledged while it remained available. The absence becomes felt not as dramatic void but as countless small gaps in their daily experience. The internal conflict between pride and longing. The avoidant person enters brutal internal warfare when absence finally registers emotionally. Their pride insists that acknowledging missing someone represents weakness or dependency they cannot tolerate, while their emerging feelings create almost unbearable longing for connection they pushed away. This conflict creates psychological torture as they recognize their genuine feelings only after their defensive patterns have succeeded in making reconciliation impossible or unlikely. They find themselves composing messages they never send, creating justifications for reaching out that preserve their dignity, and obsessively monitoring their former partner's life from distance while maintaining facade of indifference. The pride that protected them from vulnerability now imprisons them in isolation with feelings they cannot express without compromising their self-image. They suffer silently with emotions that have no acceptable outlet, unable to pursue reconnection without admitting they were wrong about their own feelings and needs. The recognition of their pattern's consequences. The avoidant person begins recognizing how their defensive patterns consistently destroy valuable connections only after absence makes loss undeniable. They observe the trail of abandoned relationships across their history and recognize their role in creating the isolation they simultaneously fear and maintain. This self-awareness arrives painfully as they realize their avoidance has guaranteed the exact outcome they sought to prevent. Being left alone with their wounds unhealed and their capacity for connection atrophied. They confront the reality that their independence is not strength but defense mechanism that has protected them from vulnerability while simultaneously preventing the intimacy necessary for genuine human fulfillment. The absence of someone who offered patience and acceptance becomes mirror reflecting their own limitations and the cost of maintaining emotional walls. They recognize that their defensive strategies have succeeded in creating safety from heartbreak by ensuring they remain perpetually isolated from meaningful connection. The possibility of transformation through loss. The avoidant person stands at crossroads where absence finally penetrates their defenses sufficiently to motivate genuine internal work and pattern examination. The pain of loss can catalyze recognition that their current approach to relationships creates suffering rather than protecting against it. Some avoidant individuals use this recognition as catalyst for therapeutic work, vulnerability practice, and conscious dismantling of defensive patterns that no longer serve their well-being or capacity for love.